Guys and their friends, look around yourself. The universe is not noisy, yet it is never silent as well. It's not rigid, yet it never collapses. It's not chaotic, yet it is never random. From the smallest particle trembling in uncertainty to the largest galaxies that are floating in signs and silence, everything survives because of some balance. And today, I want to ask a question that physics dares to ask, a physicist dares to ask, and at the same time, spirituality has asked this question. Why does the universe prefer a balance? And what does that mean for us? What could that tell us? In daily life, what we have, we think of balance. We think of balance as something rest. But in physics tells us something extraordinary. An atom is not still. It's not at rest. An electron does not sit quietly. Even in its lowest allowed states, it fluctuates. This is not basically a flaw of the nature. This is the wisdom. This is the nature's wisdom. In quantum mechanics, we generally encounter a very fundamental principle, what's known as Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. It tells us that the more precisely we know the position of a particle, then less precisely we can know its momentum or velocity. Now, this is not coming out of some kind of ignorance that you are playing on this. This is a design. The universe does not allow extremes. It protects itself through a balance, through a cosmic balance. The balance it generates. Now, let's consider energy for the sake of argument. In physics, stable systems exist at minimal energy configurations. We call them stable. But stability does not mean zero. It's not zero, it's minimum. Why? Because zero is basically a fragile term. But balance is resilient. Think of a valley and a ball resting inside this valley. That ball may move slightly, but it returns. This is what we can know as stability. A ball tilting and returning back to its original state. Isn't this exactly how a balanced human mind behaves? Disturbed, but not destroyed. Disturbed. There are disturbances all the time in our mind. Spiritual traditions never praised the excess. No extreme pleasure, no extreme, not even extreme suffering, and at the same time, not extreme control on something. The people spoke of the middle path. They talked about a moderate path, a kind of equilibrium, an inner equilibrium of stillness within the motion. And physics and spirituality are not speaking basically different languages here. They are basically describing the same principle from the different sides. A physicist declares the mathematical equations, and the other side falls in the category of experience. Now, here is something that always shocks many of us, that shocks many students, many physics students, science students. And that term is, in physics, we call it vacuum. And we say this vacuum is not empty. Even in nothingness, the fields are fluctuating. The particles are appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing. Why? Because absolute emptiness is unstable. And spirituality that we are talked about, that we are told, even silence is full. Even stillness carries awareness. So again, there's a balance. There is a balance of things going on. Now, just think about the stars again. A star shines because gravity pulls inwards, and the pressure pushes outwards. If you have too much of gravity, the star will collapse. It will exceed the pressure. And if you have too much of pressure, outward pressure, the star will explode. Life exists on the edge of the balance, not frozen, not destroyed. This is not accidental. The universe survives because it refuses the extremes. It refuses the extrema. Now, what this means for you? If the universe itself avoids extremes, why do we chase them? Access certainty, access fear, access control on things, on our body, on the things surrounding us. Physics at the same time teaches us humility. It reminds us that not knowing everything is not the weakness, basically. It is the natural state of existence. Balance is not the perfection. Balance is basically the sustainability. You sustain because of the balance. To every person out there, to every student watching Arfat Firdaus, PhD physics, don't fear confusion. Don't fear uncertainty. they are signs that you are touching the reality. And the understanding grows. It does not grow by the force, but it grows by the alignment. Now, to close this conversation, it's not a conversation basically. The universe is not basically screaming. The universe whispers, and what it whispers, it does it again and again. From quantum mechanics to human consciousness, we have this balance. Balance